Hi there. Thank you for watching Chittarupa Yoga and Fitness. I'm Laura Wilson, and I teach you ways to modify exercises so that everybody can find a way to work out. And today we're going to do beginner yoga for a new year. So if you all watched my last video, and it's linked in the description below, we let go of everything from the old year. So now we're going to turn and embrace everything that's coming in this new year with optimism and joy. If you have a mat, I highly recommend having a mat. I'm on a carpet that doesn't slip too much, so I'm pretty good here, but just make sure your area is safe. And if you do have any blocks and stuff like that you want to use, rolled up blankets for when we're on the floor, go ahead and get that stuff together. Otherwise, you won't need anything. While you are getting together, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Hit that little button down in the corner. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know in the comments what kind of videos you would like to see in this new year. As we're ready, we're going to begin standing today. So let's find our mountain pose and really begin grounding and stabilizing ourselves for this new year. So finding that place between our toes and heels where we're even, inner and outer edges, and just grounding through all 4 points of our feet, making sure that our weight is even on both feet. And then we're going to stack our joints. So we're starting at the ankles. We're going to stack our knees over that, hips over our knees, shoulders over our hips. And let's go ahead and bring our ears over our shoulders as well. That way our spine is aligned. And when we're ready, we can close our eyes. And we can focus on scooping our belly in and up under our ribs, our lower back, pulling it up under our ribs, and then bringing our shoulder blades toward each other, pressing them to our hips. So lots of extra cues in our beginner yoga for this new year. And just begin to breathe into our belly. As much as possible, we want to breathe through our nose to slow down our breath. And while we're pressing down with our feet, let's really extend up through the crown of our head. Finding a 3-part breath, inhaling into our belly, ribs, and heart. Exhaling heart, ribs, and belly. And we're just going to begin with a little flowing mountain, inhaling our arms up, exhaling hands to chest. And let's reverse the direction of our circles, inhaling up and out, exhaling into our heart. And we're going to turn sideways on our mat so that we can step out wide with our feet on that sticky surface. Turning our toes out just a little bit. Let's press our hips back. We want our hips behind our knees. Elbows at our ribs. Let's inhale up, exhale, sitting our hips back. So make sure you're moving your hips first. Knees bending second. And let's add a little hinge. So shift the hips back and then hinge forward. Inhale up, exhale, shift. And we'll take this to our sun pose, opening up, full of light, hope. Let's bring our hands to our heart, walking our feet halfway in so we can circle our hips. Let's take it the other way. So we're going to stay up and do our standing work first, and then we'll move to the floor and do some floor work. So let's find our mountain pose at the top edge of our mat. And we're going to slide one foot back, lining up our heels if that's possible for Warrior One, and there's a link to a description of a full workout for Yoga One if you want more details about this one. Today we're going to bring our elbows down, pressing our heart open, elbows back, spreading our fingers wide, opening up to whatever this new year is bringing. Now let's release our hands down, straightening our front leg, and we're just going to walk our hands down, slight bend in our knee, all the way down as far as you're comfortable going. If you have a block, you can place it right here. I like to put a block on each side for this pose. So from here, we're going to lift up until our spine is parallel to the floor. Our same side hand is just going to come wherever it naturally lands, or on our block. We're going to begin to draw this hip forward, the other hip back, and let's lift this shoulder toward the ceiling. Now, if our shoulder only comes this far, and we lift our arm, it's going to be out here. We don't want to reach our arm back, that strains our shoulder. So just open up as far as you can with this shoulder, extending the arm straight out from there. Otherwise, we can place our hand on our hip or even on our back. That way we can keep focusing on lifting that shoulder to the ceiling. And I like to look straight ahead or sometimes down at the floor, but if you wish, you can try looking up. Challenge your balance a little bit today. Let's unwind from here back to our pyramid. And we're going to bring this back up to the Warrior One. Again, with our elbows wide, opening up, fingers opening up. And let's bring that together back to our mountain. And we're going to step back with the other foot. Warrior One, elbows wide, opening up. Bring our hands down, straighten that front leg, and again, use your hands to walk down, even if it's just this far, into our pyramid pose. 2 blocks on either side of that leg. That's the way to do this pose. Now let's find ourselves parallel to the floor, same side hand wherever it naturally lands, focusing on the movement of this shoulder up to the ceiling, arms straight out from wherever that is, unless we're placing it on our hip or our back. Focus on that movement of the shoulder. And again, gazing wherever it works for you. We're going to unwind back to the pyramid, however deep that is. Making our way up to the Warrior One. Wide elbows, wide fingers. Let's bring this up to our mountain. Shake that out, maybe even circling our hips. So we're going to do some standing balance. I recommend getting near a wall for this one to continue that expression of a joyful outlook on our new year. We're going to look at our dancer pose. So near the wall if we need it, we're going to shift our weight over, lift one foot up. You can take it right here and be done. Or we can reach straight down to the outside of our foot and hold on to it. Or we can rotate our thumb out, not in, but out to the inside of our foot so that we can take this all the way to our dancer pose. Let's make our way back up and release. Let's try that other side. So shift it over, just lifting the foot up, staying right here. Unless you want to reach straight down and grab your foot. Or taking it to full dancer. Remember, don't rotate in, but rotate out. It's better for your shoulder to rotate out. And let's lift that up. If you're going there, you don't have to go there. You can also look at more details on the dancer pose in another video that I've linked down below. Let's release. Shake that out. So we're going to take it to the floor now. Let's step to the top edge of our mat, mountain pose for a few breaths. And on an inhale, let's sweep up. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to step back to one knee and then the other. Now let's go ahead and come around and have a seat. So we'll do a few seated poses. Let's begin here with our legs out wide. Now let's just flex our feet, point our toes. It's another way we can work our legs and ankles. And then we're just going to let our legs relax, toes kind of pointed toward the floor. Now let's engage these muscles. Notice how that changes things, and let's come forward. So just finding a place where we can relax. Focused on a joyful practice today. So finding a place where we feel that stretch so that we can release, relax, and smile. Let's lift up a little bit. We're going to walk ourselves out and let ourselves fold over one leg. Feeling that hinge at our hip, heart going toward our knee. Our nose might sink toward there. It may touch. Mine doesn't, but if yours does, that's great. Let's come back to the center, make our way around to the other side, and again, hinge at the hip, heart toward the knee, then the nose. Seeing if we can keep our spine aligned. That includes the back of our neck in that alignment. Let's come back to the center, lift this up, and we'll bring our legs in. Staff pose. So we're going to cross one leg over the other in a figure four, and we can take this forward, hinging at this hip here, going for a stretch of the hip of the bent leg. If this isn't as much sensation as you would prefer, we can always lift up, bend this leg, and hinge forward. This foot is relaxed. So just finding that place where we can feel the good pain, the good stretch. And let's go ahead and release down from here, getting on those sit bones and again, getting nice and tall through our spine. So let's take the opposite hand of that bent knee, reach it up, and we're going to exhale into a twist. So our back hand is near our bottom to keep our spine straight so we're not bending. And we're going to look out over that shoulder. Let's unwind from here, shake that all out, and we'll switch sides. So let's start here in the figure 4, hinging forward, seeing how that feels. If you want sensation, more sensation, lift it up, hinge it forward. Just making sure that it's breathable. And let's release this down, getting our spine long, opposite hand coming around to that knee as we twist. Remember, our other hand is up near our bottom so that our spine stays tall. No bending or leaning. Tall. Come back to center, and whatever is comfortable with your legs. So if you're comfortable sitting in staff, great. If you'd rather take it wide, I'm going to go to easy seat, and we're going to work on our neck a little bit. So let's relax our shoulders, push one hand into the floor, dropping our head away. So just getting as much space between our ear and shoulder as we can. If you wish, use 1 or 2 fingers and help it out a little bit. It doesn't take much pressure to feel a little bit more stretch, or a lot more stretch. Wherever it's a happy stretch. Let's release from there, relax our shoulders again, push the other hand into the floor so we can drop off. And if you wish, 1 or 2 fingers to help it out a little bit. Let's release from there, shaking that all out. Let's roll our shoulders back. We're going to reach back, opening up our heart. So pretend you're holding a beach ball back there, or if you want to, you can clasp your hands behind your back and really open that up. Opening through our heart, opening to all that is new. We're going to go ahead and take this onto the floor. And just take a moment to shake out. And keeping with that heart opening theme, let's bring our hands down by our sides and walk our feet back until we can touch our fingertips and our heels, letting our knees roll together. So let's push into the floor, lifting our hips up. Our knees will separate, but we want to keep squeezing them toward each other. This is a good place for a block, ball, or a rolled up towel. You can squeeze it between your knees, keep those inner thigh muscles engaged. That always helps us in any back bend that we do, to squeeze those inner thigh muscles. Let's release from here, taking our feet to the ceiling. And we're going to reach straight out. Let's hug our legs in toward our body. We'll keep our legs straight for a moment. So getting an inversion so that we can change our perspective for this new year. And then we're going to flex our feet so that they are standing on the ceiling, and they're going to stay standing on the ceiling the whole time as we bend our knees. And we might get to where we can reach up to our calves or ankles. Continue pulling our knees down. And we may be able even to hold on to our feet or even our big toes. Now you can rock a little bit gently here if you want, or just keep it still, just like a baby. That's where the name of the pose comes from. Now let's go ahead and take our legs out wide. I like to add a little extra pressure on the inside of the thighs, but you can actually add support on the outside. Now let's bring this back together. Flex and point at our ankles and heels, our wrists. And if they're feeling it, take it to some circles. So let's bring this down. We're going to take our arms wide and we're going to walk our feet together. You can have them up close to your bottom if you want, or a little further away. We're just going to take this to an easy twist from this position, dropping our knees over. So our knees are a little further apart than when we usually do our twist, but if you need to lift them up like this to feel better in your lower back, lift them up. Otherwise, we'll keep them a little further away from us. We can turn our head to the opposite side. Again, just exhaling, finding joy in our pose. Let's draw back up. We'll take our legs out long, arms overhead. Really reach away. And let's come back in, arms wide. And again, we're just going to drop over to the other side. If you need to bring your knees up a little higher, bring them up. Otherwise, keep them out. Rolling our head to the other side. Let's go ahead and draw this back up. We'll take our legs out long again, arms overhead. Stretch it out. And then we're going to come into our final relaxation, or Shavasana. And if you want some ideas on how to make this pose more adaptable, I have a link to another video in the description below. But let's just find that place where we can relax and let go today. Ready to be open and receptive to whatever comes in our new year. Allowing our belly to soften, our arms and legs to become still, relaxing back in our neck, leaving a little space in our jaw. Allowing ourselves to just be. Remembering that if you like the Shavasana portion, you can always hit pause and then hit play again when you're ready to come out. But let's again just allow ourselves to be. start by wiggling our fingers and toes, arms and legs. And just taking a few big stretches today, maybe even a yawn or two. When we're ready, we'll hug our knees and roll to our side. We always want to stay here for at least 3 breaths. More than that if you stayed in Shavasana longer. Coming up too quickly can make us dizzy. So let's take it slow. Coming back to our easy seat. Let's bring our hands together to our heart today, finding that center of all our peace, love, and joy. Feeling all that positive energy radiating throughout our body. Now let's take that with us into this new year. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. And please do subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this workout today.